Also, if someone can go off camera to take a few pictures during the presentation, that would be appreciated too.
Right. Miss Stacy?
Yes, I'm ready.
You've got it.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Stacy Whitehead, and I'm with Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. I'm a member of the Tau Beta Omega chapter. We are beginning our CAP session for the month of November by discussing how to fill out college applications. This is something that we do every first Friday with high school students that are interested in going to college. And we're going to start off with a brief recap of some of the things that we've covered over the past few months, and then we'll jump into our main presentation to discuss filling out college applications. Let me please introduce to you our first speaker. Her name is Phyllis Hayes, and again, she will be doing a recap of some of the things that we've taught you about HBCUs over the past few months. Phyllis, take it away.
All right, I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Phyllis Hayes. My presentation will give you an overview of the presentations that we have given over the course of our time together during this COVID-19 pandemic. History of HBCUs. Can you see that, Stacy, the history?
Not yet. I see overview.
All right, so how do I? Uh-oh.
Make sure you're clicking the tab, the whole tab instead of just that particular slide, so that it'll click on to the next slide when you're clicking off.
Click the whole tab.
Where you see share screen,
Yeah.
it'll give you the option to say, you know, share just that particular screen or share that entire browser. Make sure you're clicking the one that's clicking on the browser, because then it'll continue to go with you.
All right, let's see here. So you see that one. Okay. All right, so the next thing we did was talk about historical Black colleges. So HBCUs were established in 1837. The very first HBCU was called Institute for Colored Youth. It began as a farm school, which became one of the first schools to train Blacks for skilled jobs. The goal and the purpose of the HBCUs were to establish and to serve the educational needs of Black America. The next thing we talked about is college tours. Due to COVID-19, the in-person college campus tours stopped. HBCUs were offering a virtual college tours. These are great offerings. You can ask questions, see inside of popular buildings and dorm rooms. Please take advantage of the HBCU virtual tours. It's an activity that the entire family can be a part of. Then we talked about study abroad programs and study abroad opportunities. Study abroad gives you a chance to see the world differently. You are offered a chance to immerse yourself in cultures you only see on the internet and the TV. This is
I'm sorry, Phyllis. May I interrupt you very quickly. We're
Yes.
still not seeing your slides move. So what I'd like to do is go ahead and start with the presentation about filling out college applications, and then we will end with yours. If you don't mind, just email your presentation to me and
Okay, just send me your email.
Brittany. Okay, to me
Okay.
and to Brittany. Okay.
Sounds good.
I apologize, everyone.
No
We're
problem.
going to go ahead and switch over now. So we are actually going to change up the order of the presentation and go now into how to fill out the college applications. Our speaker for this evening is actually coming to us long distance, and she is a high school college advisor from Houston, Texas. Let me get my information up here. I apologize. Yep, I'm sorry, I've lost it. Okay, well, let me just go ahead and bring her up, and then she can give her own introduction. Her name is Miss Carmen. Everyone, please welcome Carmen as she prepares to bring her presentation on how to fill out college applications.
Awesome, thank you. My name is Carmen Rosser, and I am a high school counselor. I've been in education for about 31 years, 21 of those years at the high school level. Right now, I primarily work with advanced placement students and also students who need 504 accommodations. So I'm not new to dealing with teenagers. I actually love them, and so I love this process. So thank you guys so much for having me. I'm going to share my screen with you guys now. Just one moment, please. Okay, here we go. Let's look at what are some successful steps that we can take to have this amazing roadmap to this whole college process. The big thing that I want students to understand is don't wait for the very last moment. A lot of times we think that we have all the time in the world, and then the next thing you know, time has crept up and we're in a rush. So we want to make sure we're not waiting to the last minute, and we're noting all deadlines and we're adhering to them. So it's not, I forgot, can I get an extension? Colleges are dealing with thousands of applicants. And so we want to make sure that we adhere to those deadlines. And the other thing is that my suggestion is to come up with a community calendar for at home. So we have due dates that we need to pay attention to. If we have those in a centrally located area at home, then everyone is aware of when things are due. In addition to that, keeping a college admissions binder. And what do I mean by that? Having a binder with all of those universities and colleges that you are interested in applying to, the requirements for those universities, test scores, everything that's involved in that admission process, have it divided by those universities by month. That way, you'll know what is due for which college and exactly what information you need to provide. Okay, so let's look at some factors considered in college admissions. Your grades in college prep courses that you are currently taking right now in high school. So what exactly are those grades? Are you barely getting by because you're not doing work? Or are you barely getting by because the rigor, it's a little different and it's requiring you to dig deeper? So that means that you may need to adjust some time of study, and adjust your extracurricular activities, talk to teachers. So all of those play a factor in college admissions. We also look at standardized admissions tests, your ACT, SAT scores. Each college and university has their ideal ACT, SAT score. It used to be that a lot of the Ivy League schools especially only wanted SAT scores. Now ACT is intermingled in those with those colleges, And so colleges pretty much now even will take ACT and SAT scores. Your grades in all courses. You know how there are those favorite courses, and those are courses that we seem to excel in, but colleges look at your grades in all of your courses, not just in our favorite courses. So we want to make sure that we're cognizant of grades in all of the courses, because grades help to calculate your GPA, and that's one of the things that colleges look at. That GPA then transcends to your class rank. And so class rank is determined by your giant report card. So all the classes that you have taken for high school credit are on this giant report card we call the transcript. From there, the GPA is calculated, and that's how class rank is determined. So the higher your GPA is, the higher you are in your class rank. And then the other factors considered are essays, and we'll talk about that tonight as well. Let's look at academic preparation. How prepared are you to go off to college? The quality of courses taken in high school. Are you in AP courses, advanced placement courses? Are you in honors courses? Are you in the interbaccalaureate program, or dual credit? And so I'm in Texas, so dual credit means that you're in high school, you're taking high school credit, but then you're also getting college credit at the same time. One of the things that I talk to my students a lot about is the AP exam. Since I'm the AP coordinator at my school, I'm very sensitive to those AP scores. AP scores have a rank between a 1 and 5, 5 being the highest, 1 being the lowest. So the mid-range is a 3. There are a lot of colleges and universities that will take a 3. There will be some that say, no, I need to see a 5. And based on the score of a 3, 4, or 5, that could translate to college credit. Now, there are some colleges and universities will say, great job, student. You scored a 5, which is a perfect score on the AP exam, but we still want you to take our course. And so what that AP score does for you at this point, it is a signal to colleges and universities that, hey, I am academically prepared to be at your institution. Grades, are they increasing or decreasing? A lot of times when students become really involved in extracurricular activities, or if they feel like they have achieved a certain GPA because they know a college is accepting a particular GPA along with a particular ACT or SAT score, that they could just chill. I caution that because your grades count to the very end. So if your grades are decreasing, then that's a self-reflection. So that's an opportunity for you guys to sit and talk with your counselor, talk with your teachers, talk with your parents, and you guys come up with a plan that will help to increase your grades and also see where the hemorrhaging is happening. Because if your grades are decreasing, they're decreasing for a reason. So I need you to pay attention to what your grades look like. Your grades count to the very end. College Board says this, it said academic intensity and quality are far and away the most powerful predictor of bachelor's degree completion. And that's just a fancy way of saying that the intensity that you are enduring right now is an indicator, is a predictor that you will be the person to graduate from college with a bachelor degree. Okay, so college and universities want to see student involvement. So remember I talked about those extracurricular activities. A lot of students are involved in student council. They may be an athlete. They may be involved in all sorts of things, National Honor Society, all of these leadership type activities on campus. Your resume should include all of those magnificent accomplishments. I know that we have students that are in things outside of school, and those activities also count in addition to what happens in school. So your resume is just this wonderful picture, it's this canvas that you get to paint on, and it allows you the opportunity to shine. So like the Eagle Scouts, or if you're in Girl Scouts, any of those leadership roles where you're thinking, oh, they're not going to consider that, those are great avenues. Jack and Jill, all of those are opportunities for you to be able to put on your comprehensive resume so that people have a better idea of who you are. So here are some tips to follow when developing your essay. You want your essay to be neat and accurate. You want to proofread it carefully, especially now, students, in the age of text messaging. We cut everything short. And so in doing so, a lot of times when we need to write formally, we kind of forget that we're not text talking, that this is where it counts. And so this is where we have to have command over the English language. And we have to remember that resume is a reflection of who you are. So it's like putting everything out on the table and say, hey, here is who Carmen Rosser is as an individual. What do you guys think?
Ms. Carmen, we have a question in the chat. I'll go ahead and read it to you. I'm not sure if you're able to see it.
Can
This
I
is from
finish this part and then
okay. Okay,
I'll
sure.
answer the chat? How's that?
Okay.
Okay, great. So then we're going to emphasize the most significant achievements. So here's where you get to put your best stuff first. So anytime that you received an accolade for anything, that you received an honor for anything, this is your opportunity to shine. You want to be specific. You want to use adjectives to describe what kind of skills you have. And when it's appropriate, go ahead and offer some examples of that. Here's the thing that I want to stress more than any other thing. Be honest about who you are. You never want to be someone that you're not. So if you're writing your resume, and it's glorified, but it's not you, you're not operating in fidelity. So you want it to be the most accurate, honest information that you can possibly come up with. Yes, ma'am. What was the question?
Let's see. It says, I failed a lot of classes last year in 11th grade because of a close death in my family. But this year I am doing way better with my grades. So how would it make my GPA since I'm retaking the classes I failed along with my 12th grade classes?
So this is a
Okay, so it
file.
depends on your school.
So I'm trying to send this whole thing.
Phyllis, can you go on mute, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
It depends on your school. And first of all, one of the things I want to commend you, because life happens to all of us. And so, in my opinion, you are that perfect candidate when we're going to talk about writing your essay. So, in your essay, you are going to attest to the struggles that you've had in that essay, right? And so, as it relates to your GPA, it depends. Some schools will go ahead and calculate that GPA, like the new classes that you're taking, they will put that in there. But keep in mind, your GPA or your classes that you took, they don't ever leave your transcript. So whatever the classes that you took and you weren't successful in, those stay on your transcript. The new class goes on your transcript with the new grade, but everything is calculated. And so the way to make that work for you is when it's time to do your essay, then you can tell that story, because that's what your essay is. Your essay is a story as to who you are as an individual. Does that make sense?
You're welcome to come off mute.
Okay, hi. Yes, it does make sense. Thank you so much for telling me that, because
And
it's been hard.
yeah, and one of the things that I would, and you said that you're in the 11th grade right now, or the 12th grade?
I'm in the 12th grade right now, but my 11th grade year was just like a train crash.
Well, no, your 11th grade year just took you on a different path, right? So
Yeah, but my previous year, I actually had got honor roll. I was doing really good, but then after that, my GPA just went downhill from that
yeah,
last.
but I want you to look at it as that, not that you got train wrecked or anything, you just had a different path, right? And sometimes we have curves, we have hills, we have valleys. But the thing is that you just keep moving. As long as you keep going forward, then you'll be fine.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any questions before I proceed?
I
Not
don't
for-
see any new ones.
Okay. Okay, so here we go with the essays. So some colleges may require you to write one or more essays. It depends on the college, and it depends on the college within the university that you are applying to. And so the essay gives you that opportunity to set yourself apart from everybody else. So like the young lady you were just talking, this is your opportunity to talk about those experiences and how those experiences took you on a different path so that you can get to where you are today, right? And so I would take advantage of any time there's an opportunity to write an essay, and especially the optional part. So anytime it says optional, I will caution you to go ahead and do it, because optional means that you're going to go over and beyond what the university or the college is asking you to complete. Okay. And so the great news in writing essays is that you don't have to get it right the first time. It is so much better to go ahead and write down your drafts and just your thought, and get that main content. That's why I raised the font on the word content. Get your content. That's your thoughts. Get that down on paper. And then what you're going to do is you're going to set it to the side. So you're going to leave it, you're going to put it out of your mind, and you want to come back with a fresh perspective on there. And that way that anything that needs to stand out to you will stand out, because you've taken some time away from it. And so some other things to consider, that's my great news sound pit right there. When you're writing your essay, look at your organization. You can't have an effective essay if you're all over the place. Okay, so you want to look at your organization in that. How is it flowing, right? Look at your style of writing. So you want to make sure that when you're writing, that it's attractive, that I'm reading it and I feel like I'm reading this novel and it has these cliffhangers and I just want to keep reading more. I want to find out more about this person. Remember, we talked about that text talking. Watch your grammar. You're not using little i's or lowercase i's. You're making sure that you have punctuation, that you have proper subject-verb agreement, that you're using adverbs, you're using adjectives when you're writing. Also, spelling. Spelling is huge. Make sure that you have someone looking over these things so that you have everything neat and crisp. And watch the tone. You want your tone to be inviting. You don't want to be the Debbie Downer on your college essay life is just so bad. Life could have thrown you a couple of curveballs. It could have knocked you down, but the great thing is that you got back up. So do you see how the tone in that has a lot to do with tenacity, how you're able to persevere, you're able to get up and go after it again. And the other thing is that once you've rewritten your first draft, try it out on somebody. You know, that's why you have your college and career counselor or your counselor or your English teacher. I can tell you, even when I went to college, my high school senior English teacher ended up being a professor at my college. I used to bring my English papers over to her so she could proofread before I turned them in. So there is strength in collaboration. So make sure you try to collaborate with other people, and then keep in mind, thoughtful, well-written essay can affect that final decision in a positive way. So you want to always think of, how am I able to present myself in a positive way? So we're going to look at letters of recommendation. So this is huge in my opinion, because this is what other people are saying about you. So the recommendation, just describes personal characteristics and your academic abilities. So because that's why you're going to college, you need somebody to attest to who you are as an individual, and also what about your academic stance? How do you perform in school? And this recommendation, it kind of analyzes things. It gives far more information than if I just provided a transcript to the college on your behalf. Okay? And so here are some things to consider before asking someone to write a recommendation. You might consider, because your teachers really only have record of the classes that they teach, those students. And so you may want to ask to waive your rights so that people maybe can look at your comprehensive file, your cumulative file, to look at maybe how you progressed along the years so they can have a more accurate picture of you as an applicant. Deciding who should write your recommendation is huge. One of the things, especially the seniors that are on this medium tonight, I would get my junior, when I was in the 11th grade, my junior grade level English teacher, or my junior history teacher to write my letter of recommendation. And the reason why, because both of them, they have experience with your writing skills. They have spent time with you. If you wait until your senior year and you're asking your senior teachers, they really have not had the opportunity that your junior, your 11th grade year teachers. I know COVID has been a little different because we didn't have the classroom time like we would have had in traditional brick and mortar. But in my opinion, your junior level teachers are more equipped to write a better letter of recommendation for you. And the other thing is that writing that letter of recommendation, if it's well written, it's time consuming. So when I have a student who comes to me and say, I need a letter of recommendation, and I said, okay, when is it due? And they said, I need it tomorrow. Then you're asking for a cookie cutter type letter of recommendation. That means that it's a form recommendation letter that we already have made, and we're just plugging in your name. That does you a disservice as a student. Remember, we talked about showcasing you, being in a position where you can shine. In order for that to happen, you need that resume, because that resume is going to be well written and it'll have all the things that make you this awesome, amazing candidate for colleges and universities. And so that, in conjunction with choosing the right person to write the letter of recommendation, now you're able to have a solid product. But if you're asking someone to rush and do that, because keep in mind, depending on how many students your counselors have on their caseload, 15 days may even be pushing it for them. Okay. And so only request recommendations for those schools that you are definitely applying to. So you have 20 schools on your wish list. You're kind of looking at them. You know you're not going to apply to 12 of them. Don't ask for 20 letters of recommendations to all those different schools. Only go for the ones you absolutely know that you're going to apply. Do we have any questions thus far?
Yes, Carmen, I do see one or two questions in the chat. One of the questions was, do progress reports count?
Progress reports don't count. And the reasons that they don't count is it's a snapshot to let you know, are you on the right path to the report card? So progress report can tell you that if you have, and I'm just going to throw this out, if you have all A's, then, ooh, I want to maintain all A's, so then I need to keep up whatever it was I was doing. But if on the progress report, if I have like a B, C, and a D, I was like, ooh, this is my opportunity for me to know what I'm doing definitely is not working, and I need to do a 180. I need to get in tutorials. I need to talk to my teachers. I may even need to talk to my parents, especially if I have responsibilities at home, about maybe suspending those responsibilities just so I can get back on track academically. That was a great question. Thank you.
Let's see. Okay, I just realized Maria is helping out with answering some of the questions in the chat. One of the questions was, how many letters of recommendation do you need?
It depends. It depends on the university. I always tell my students 3, because if they got 3 letters of recommendation, 2 of them could be from academics, 1 could be from your extracurricular. So your extracurricular, if I give an example, I had a student who was a football player and I didn't know he was one of the captains until I went to the game. He was always by the coach. He would zip in the games, he would zip out the games, always on time. So the coach was able to attest to his work ethic, not just how great of an athlete he was, but his ethic. So I say 3.
Okay, thank you. One more question, and that is, how do you keep your personal essay from being too wordy?
That's where, remember, you get that extra set of eyes, right? Remember, we're going to write the essay, so you're going to dump your main content. So it's kind of like mapping it. You're going to dump your main content onto your essay. And then you're going to put it to the side and you're going to come back, and that's where you start that editing. Oh, I didn't need to put that. Oh, this doesn't seem right. Then you're going to present it to someone who definitely can give a different perspective. And that person can help mark it up so that you're not so wordy and windy and people are reading it and they kind of lose what your intent is.
All right, thank you. That's the last question in the chat for right now.
Okay. So we're going to now look at other admission consideration. So we talked about all those other considerations, but in the more competitive colleges, right, there's limited availability. So that means that we have more students applying for spaces available. And so then it becomes a question of which of the academically qualified applicants are admitted. So that's where you get to separate yourself from other people, okay? And so let's look at those other factors that may play into it to separate you from other applicants. Do you have any special talents? Are you good at music? Do you have any type of artistic or athletic ability. Geographic location, that means that depending on where you're interested in going to school, it may be a better option for you. I have students who go to a lot of schools on the East Coast that are smaller schools, and smaller schools because of their academic ability, their GPA along with SAT, ACT, makes it a viable location for them. If you have some type of outstanding merit, so national merit recommendation, that's from the PSAT, and that is from when you take the test during your junior year for the PSAT, that's the national merit, or some other outstanding achievement that's recognized by colleges. Background and culture sometimes will play a part in the admission consideration. And then also first generation. So Emerge is a program that caters to first generation students. That means that you're the first person in your family to go off to college. And so it's a program that my students are involved in, and they look at a lot of the small private universities. There's a lot of money and scholarship that's tied to those programs as well. We're going to look at some common admission terms. Early decision. And so early decision is a commitment to a college or university at the time of the application. So when you apply and you're admitted, you're enrolled. Okay, and so you can only have one early decision application pending at one time. So I can say, you guys, I saw you talked about HBCUs. Southern University is in Louisiana, and I'm a Louisianian. And so you can't do early decision at Southern University. Another HBU is Prairie View A&M University, where I received my master's degree in counseling from. So I could not do early decision on both of those at the same time. Early action, it permits you to apply to a college of your choice and receive an early decision in the senior year well in advance than the spring response date. So there's the date that the spring that colleges will offer. This gives you time before the normal response dates. And then we have regular decision. So regular decision is that when most applicants are notified of the college decision to accept them into the university, and there are specific dates for those as well. A rolling admission. Rolling admission is when the institution reviews the application. So they're looking at them as they come in, and then they offer to students as soon as they're made. So if I'm applying and they are looking at, let's say they got 100 applicants at one time, and 100 applicants are viable candidates, they are suitable for admissions, they'll offer those right away. And then we have what's called the wait list. And so the wait list, it's a process where in the beginning, so initially when you apply, there may be a delay, or you may even be denied admission. And so instead of that, it puts you in like this little holding list. And in that holding list, that's where colleges will wait. So then if someone who may be previously accepted no longer will be there, then it gives you the opportunity to be the next person in line for that. And then, are there any other questions? I know I gave a lot in a short period of time.
I don't see any new questions in the chat, not at this time.
I actually have a question.
Yes.
So my friend was telling me that if you apply early to colleges, it's actually better because there's a better chance that you like be accepted. Or what do you think? Because so you have to wait in line for it to be accepted. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It depends. The early admittance, it's not a bad thing. The thing that I caution you is you need to be able to research many colleges before you decide that's the one. Because sometimes with early admissions, because students don't want to go through the hassle of applying to all these different schools, writing the essays, you have to get the transcript, to get all the things together for the admission. And so sometimes they settle for a college that maybe their parents went to because they're familiar with it, or their friends are going to because they now feel that they have a community that they're going to. And it's not really the college that they truly wanted to go to. So if you're going to do early admissions, make sure it's the college that you genuinely want to attend, so that you've done your research and know that this is where I want to go. Do you guys have Naviance? Are you familiar with that?
No.
No,
Yes.
what is that?
Naviance is a program where it collectively, it will tell if the school is a large school, if it's a medium-sized school, small school. It'll talk about demographics. It'll compare the demographics of the school. It'll give college requirements for that school. And so it's all together in this, and usually it's generated through their high school, the licenses through the high school. And so it's an opportunity at a glance for students to research various colleges a lot quicker, in my opinion, because all those colleges are loaded in Naviance and they're able to compare. If you want to go to all girls school, if you only want to be at a co-ed school. So it's different variables you can consider.
Is Naviance just a website that they can go to, or is it an app, or how do they get to it?
It's a program. And so typically that program is purchased through their school.
Oh, okay. Okay. It sounds like a great program.
It's a really great program. You can do goals in Naviance. There are tasks that you can set up. You can do your plan on Naviance. We do letters of recommendation. If for student requests, they can do transcript requests through Naviance. It's a great comprehensive tool.
Okay. So I guess they would just need to check with their high school counselors to see if they have access to it.
Correct.
Okay. Are there any other questions, guys? Come on, we'll keep them coming. This is good information for you.
I actually have another question. My question is there like any way I can is there like any quizzes that you recommend I can do that talks about college that's best suited for me? Because I'm honestly not really sure the exact college I really want to go to.
Okay, so do you have a College Board account?
No.
Okay, so that's the first thing. I suggest that you open up a College Board account, and it's, I can put it in the chat. It's www.collegeboard.org. And so College Board is the entity that governs AP, SAT testing. And so on College Board, you can log in as a student. And so when you log in as a student, then you can peruse like different schools. You can look at what their SAT requirements are. You can, on College Board, you can get like the questions of the day, so you can start practicing test questions. It has like a wealth of information on there. So I put it into, oh wait, I didn't do it to everybody, I'm sorry. Let me go everyone.
Yeah, I bookmarked it on mine.
I'm sorry, say that again.
I bookmarked the link on my my tablet.
Okay, awesome. It's gonna be your friend. Make College Board be your BFF.
Okay.
I have a question, Stacy.
Sure.
What is the difference between Naviance and the Common App?
The Common App is where they are applying using just that particular entity, and it will go to the colleges that accept the College App. Naviance is a program that students use to be able to, you can research, they can make requests to counselors on Naviance. They can, schools have the ability to send out transcripts through Naviance. And so Naviance is more of a like a working tool. And it also is like a planning guide as well. The Common App, you're filling out information to apply for schools with that, multiple schools using one form.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Well, one thing I'd like to add is when you're considering what colleges to attend, try to go to some college fairs. That's a great opportunity for you to speak with representatives of different schools and find out what their curriculum is like, what they specialize in, and ask as many questions as possible of those college representatives. And then also, even though because of COVID, most college fairs are not done in person, a lot of them are being done virtually right now. And then I also recommend that you make a list for yourself, or maybe start a spreadsheet showing the schools that that you're interested in. Go on their websites, follow them on Instagram, and find out what activities and things they have going on that campus. Just become as familiar with the school as possible, and then start narrowing down your choices. After you've researched your initial research on the schools, you may find, oh, this school is not what I thought it was. I'm going to take this one off my list. Then by process of elimination, you can start whittling down your list to your final few choices. And then when it's time to apply to schools, you'll already have a solid list that you're going to work from. But again, I highly recommend college fairs. I highly recommend that you follow the schools on social media to learn a little bit more about their campus life. They also should have virtual tours. That's something that Ms. Phyllis talked about a few months ago, and she'll show you again in a few minutes. But virtual tours will allow you to see what the campus looks like. If it's possible, I highly recommend that you go visit a campus, particularly one that you're very seriously interested in, because you want to see if it's a place that you feel comfortable. I know that when I can't remember if I was a junior or senior in high school, I had no idea where I wanted to go to school, but I knew I was going to an HBCU because my parents told me I was going to an HBCU. And then when I had a friend that graduated from high school a year before me, and so I visited her one weekend, and just fell in love with the campus and knew right off the bat that that's where I wanted to go. Just from visiting, I knew right off the bat that's where I wanted to go. So I highly encourage you to try to visit the campus. I know that some of the HBCUs have like a college tour where they take you on a trip over the weekend where you visit multiple schools. But if you can't do it in person, they should also have virtual tours. And again, there's the college fairs, and there's so many websites out there that help you narrow down your choices. If you just do a Google search and say, I'm interested in going to a school that specializes in engineering, what are the top 10 engineering schools, or what are the top 10 nursing schools? Then the websites that come up on Google are just phenomenal. You will find more information than you can handle. So that's my recommendation as well for how to start selecting a college.
See, I know right now, the reason I didn't say that, because I know where we are, we're not able to do that. So in traditional brick and mortar, through our College and Career Center, we have like sign-up sheets where students can sign up, where we're taking them to different colleges, where they get to tour, they get to spend the life of a college student, and get to visit the various aspects of those schools. The other thing that I don't know if you guys are in the building or not, because we're not 100% in the building. We're only like 30% in our building. We have a college and career counselor who specifically will navigate with students. And so there's a college and career center that they can visit at their school. That's a great place to start as well. I don't know if you guys, as far as what's the level of comfort, as far as being out at different entities, but I would strongly suggest to start with the school counselor. Don't ever, ever, ever discount your school counselor. I'm advocating for the school counselor because those websites are great. A lot of times we have been to many of those schools. And so collectively between our group, somebody has been somewhere and could give the information as far as answering questions. And then we have other students who come back that we do a partnership with as well. So maybe start with your high school counselor. They love students. They should love students. I love mine. So your high school counselor.
Are there any other members of my sorority on here that would like to provide any input or share a story about how they chose their college? No cool stories?
I was just going to piggyback off of what was just shared about school counselors, that school counselor might also help students figure out if they are better suited for a small campus or a larger campus or a campus that's close to home or maybe, someplace farther away. My high school counselor was outstanding. So I am team college counselor all the way. Just really helped guide me on my path and really helped me figure out at least who to even ask to secure those letters of recommendation. And she was right there on my high school campus. And so even though we're in this virtual space, that's a resource that's just readily available to you and wants to help you, wants to see, it's a win for college counselors when they can help you figure out where you'll ultimately land. So definitely use that resource. Yeah, that's all I wanted to share. Go
Thank
counselors.
You.
Go
Thank you.
counselor.
Okay, are there any questions? No? No one wants to come off of mute? Okay. Well, let me ask you this. I'd like to know the grade level of the students that are participating. Can you raise your hand or actually just put something in chat to tell me if you are a senior? I'd like to know who are the seniors that are on this call currently? Any seniors? Can you just put something in chat for us right quick? Okay, I see one, I see two, three seniors. Okay, is that it? All right. What about juniors? Do we have any juniors on the call? I see one, two juniors. Okay. All right, let's keep going. What about sophomores? One sophomore. Are there any freshmen? Yes. All right. Very good. Okay. I was just curious. I wanted to get a feel for the class, the age group of the students who were on here, so that we could just to see if we're hitting, hitting you with the right information at the point that you're in for getting ready for college. Okay, Miss Carmen, do you have any additional information from your presentation to share? Did we lose Carmen?
You can't hear me, sorry. Her computer died, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I was about to say, I don't see her anymore.
I know.
Okay.
I just asked her, what happened? She said that her computer died. So she said
Oh,
bye
right.
and thank you so much. And if you have any questions for her, you can go through me if you need to. I'm happy to get anything to her from anyone here.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Miss Annette.
And
All
Stacy,
right.
I just wanted to piggyback on something that she had mentioned earlier when she was talking about attending college or junior college while you're in high school. I highly, highly, highly recommend that. I took a few classes when I was in high school, and I also did an international baccalaureate that was offered in my school. That's not offered everywhere, but certain schools offered that, and it saved me so much time in college because I didn't have to take. I mean, classes aren't dumb, but I didn't have to take classes I didn't feel apply to what I wanted to be taking. I went to school for, film, TV, communications. Why am I taking introductory? Like, why am I taking this math class or this mythology class? This has nothing to do with what I want to do. So I got all those sort of prerequisite general ed classes out of the way. So I actually got to take all the classes I wanted to take, not the classes I had to take. So I highly recommend that. And that also helps your grades because if you enjoy the classes you're taking, you'll do better.
That's a good point. Thank you, Brittany. I didn't even think about that, but that's a very good point. And something that we haven't even really talked about a lot of is going to community college. There's absolutely nothing wrong with going to a community college, especially if you're not ready to go to a four-year college. I see Maria raising her hands up there. Yes, I mean, four-year colleges are not for everyone right off the bat, not right out of high school. So sometimes you need that extra time to get yourself ready for a four-year college, and then you can transition over. So I definitely would encourage you to do that, as well as take some advanced placement courses at a community college if you're able to. Okay, I think we're ready to move on to our next presentation. Are there any other questions? Let me just check the chat right quick.
Stacy, I was wondering of the individual students who are on the call, how many of them know what college that they want to kind of focus on? Do they want to do West Coast? Do they want to do East Coast? Or are they still undecided?
Well, let's ask that of the students. Yeah. If you guys don't mind, I would prefer that you come off chat, but if you don't feel comfortable, I understand. Sorry, off of mute. But if you don't feel comfortable doing that, can you put in the chat, just name a few of the colleges that you're interested in?
Yeah.
I have a list of 3 colleges I'm interested in.
What are they? Please share, Alicia.
So the first one is LMU. The next one is West LA, and the other one is Cal State Dominguez.
Okay, very good, very good.
It's just close by. Yeah.
I was just going to ask, how did you come to that conclusion that those were the schools that you were interested in? How did you determine that?
Well, I'm still researching more into it, but I'm just really looking at the schools that are close by, so I have to have a long commute to the colleges.
Okay. Have you considered what you'd like to major in?
Well, I was actually about to ask a question of how many majors you can have, minors, because I was thinking about having 2 majors, 2 majors, which I want to focus on literature and also psychology. And then my minor, I was thinking about doing nutrition.
Did you say nutrition?
Yes.
Okay, sure. Yes, you can have a double major. Now, just keep in mind, the more, let me rephrase that. The more majors that you choose, of course, you have to have so many hours of coursework to graduate. So the more majors you select, the more hours of coursework that you're going to need in order to complete that. But definitely, I highly encourage it, especially if you're up to the challenge. Definitely. Definitely.
So I do see some HBCUs, some Howard, Spelman. Those things are wonderful.
TCU, UVA. Okay. Yeah. I see someone says they just know they want to leave California. I felt the same way. I definitely can relate to that. Let's see, what else do we have? Someone else at West Coast. Okay. So yeah, you one of the things you do need to determine is, do you want to go away from home to go to school, or do you want to stay home to go to school? Do you want to stay local, or do you want to stay where you're not far, but you're not local, like maybe in Arizona or San Diego or UNLV, somewhere, in the next state over, or a few counties away, but you're not far where you can get home if you need to. Okay, looks like Carmen is back. So Carmen, while you were out, we were just asking some of the students what were the schools they were interested in considering. And one of the questions that someone just asked is, can they do a double major? Do you have a response to that?
Yes, you can have a double major. The thing to consider in a double major, that it may require you to take extended hours, meaning extra hours in class, in school for your, so every degree has a particular number of hours that you need to complete in order to satisfy that particular degree. Sometimes in a dual major, those classes may overlap. So it's kind of like you get to double dip in that, but more than likely you will have to be in school maybe a little bit longer so that you can accomplish that. Unless, do you have any dual credit right now, meaning that you have credit that you're taking in high school for college, credit that when you leave from high school, you already have college credits? So in that instance, that's a way when you want to do a double major, and by all means, if you want to do a double major, it's your choice. But when you have like advanced placement, when we're talking about if anybody's in AP classes or they're in IB classes, or if you're in dual credit, it's an opportunity for you to graduate from high school with college credit. Like my niece graduated from high school with college credit because she gained college credit through AP courses. So now over at college, she has a degree because of the traction gained from having college credits in high school. But that's very admirable if you want to do a dual major.
Thank you.
So I just
Another,
wanted to add, Stacy, I was a double
yes.
major,
Mm.
and I completed my double major in 4 years. How'd I do that?
Wow.
Summer school. And what was beautiful about that was I got to live on campus during the summer. So I went home to see family for a couple of weeks, but it just kind of gave me a little extra independence, you know, throughout the year. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed being able to stay on campus during the summer, and I was able to work on an on-campus, I had an on-campus job during the summer as well. So it's possible, and you can do it in 4 years.
And
Yep,
they,
I did
now
the
have
same
mini
thing.
masters. They now have mini masters where you can do those little 3-week courses over the Christmas break, and then also towards the end of the spring semester, they have the little mini masters, we call them. So it's an opportunity for you to get credit at an accelerated pace, but you're getting credit.
One more question, and that is, we didn't really talk a lot about community colleges because, you know, some people aren't ready to go to a 4-year college right out of high school. And I was just trying to encourage them and help them the students to understand that that's okay. There's nothing wrong with going to community college. And I see Maria, who is one of the assistants who's actually answering the questions on the chat for us. She says that she attended a community college. Am I correct, Maria? Am I reading your text correctly here? Did you have anything else you wanted to share about that?
Yeah. I actually I went to Berkeley City College. Like how it happened was I applied and I didn't get into any UCs. I was like super heartbroken. I ended up going to San Francisco State, and it like after a year I was like, this isn't really my gig. And I decided to go to like community college, and it was like awesome. Like the counselors there are super great. They like want to do everything that they can to like help you transfer. Like I found that there's like smaller learning. It's like a 30 people class, so it's like easier to like learn. And it was super duper cheap because of like financial aid. It was only like $56 a semester, because like you can apply for like fee waivers and stuff, especially if you're a California resident. So I always recommend it to everyone. It's super awesome. If you have any questions, let me know.
And what they have with, since I didn't realize we were going to talk about community colleges, but what community colleges, and you have to know which ones, they have what's called, and they're called different things at different schools, but I'm going to use the bridge program. So a bridge program means that you're at a community college, but your community college is close enough to a university where those same professors who teach at the community college also teach at the university. They can. And so with that bridge program, is it's more hands-on, it's a smaller class setting, and it kind of mimics high school as far as the touches, meaning that people are checking up on you, making sure that you're going to tutorials, just checking to see how you're doing in school. If you maintain a certain GPA, when it's time, when you've gotten your 60 credit hours, then that can transfer over to 30 hours or whatever the agreement is, can transfer over to a college. And so the classes that you're taking at the community college, because they're in sync, meaning that they have that relationship with the college, 9 times out of 10, all of those classes will transfer over to the college. And so you don't have to be concerned with whether or not being at community college, whether or not a university will accept all of those college hours. So that's an option. I've had students to do that a lot with some of the bigger schools that they wanted to go to. And so, but needed to be at a community college first before they could transfer over. Oh, they're called cross enrollment classes. Thank you. So
Yeah.
they're called cross enrollment.
Yeah, some schools have partnerships.
South, we're country. We call it the bridge program, bridging the gap.
Well, yeah, but it's the same concept. A lot of schools have partnerships with the community colleges, so that works out well as well for a lot of people. Okay, are there more questions? Come on, guys, keep them coming. You've had some pretty good questions so far.
I have a question. I want to know how many students are in dual enrollment? Is that what they're called there? Where you're in high school and you're getting college credit? And how many students are in an AP class? Oh, Jada's in dual enrollment. So that's awesome. Any students that are in AP classes or IB classes? Are all of you guys, oh wait, who is that? Leanne, you're in AP? Which AP class are you in, Leanne? Can I hear your voice, baby?
Hi, good evening.
Hi.
Hi. What
Which
was your
AP
question?
class are you, which AP class?
Calculus.
Oh, you're in AP Cal. How is that going?
It's okay. It's a little tough, but when you work hard and pay attention, it gets better.
Great. Are you guys doing, are you doing the little, the assignments from College Board? Is your teacher assigning those?
He doesn't consider it mandatory, but every now and then I go and try and complete them. It's not mandatory for a class.
Okay, so you remember I told you about the essay that's optional? So this is the same thing when you're saying it's not mandatory. So it's not mandatory, but it will be something that will help you on the AP exam. When you do the AP exam, depending on the college that you attend, and you score at least a 4 or a 5, you probably, depending on what your major is, will test out of college algebra. And so what that does for you, remember when the lady talked about graduating college within 4 years? That's equivalent to taking a class during summer school, because now you're going into college with college credit, right? And it's saving you money. So you get to take the test, earn the score, and earn college credit and save money. So that little optional stuff, you kind of make it mandatory for you.
Okay.
Because when you're confident in taking the test, it's a breeze.
Okay, I have a question. In a lot of the college applications, I'm seeing that they're saying the SAT is optional. Is that true? Should I try and take it? Because my test, they kept getting canceled, and so I'm unsure at this point.
Yeah, College Board had an issue with that lockdown browser. That's one of the things that's been across the country because everything that they did was virtually as far as the AP testing and all of that was just, I'm not going to bore you guys with the details on that, but I would take both. I always suggest to my students that you take both because you may have a strength on one and on the other, maybe not so good. So I would take both tests. And one of the ways that I always talk to my students about being prepared is that even when you go on ACT or SAT, you can get those release tests. And I would put myself into a testing environment. And what do I mean by that? Each test has a time limit. And so I would set the timer and I would see how many of those questions that I can answer with accuracy within that time period. And so from there, I would look at the questions that I didn't get correct. And so I would start practicing those type questions every single time I have a free moment. Because the more you see that language, the more you practice those type items, when you get to the test, it's just like breathing. So I would do both. And you could check with your counselor, see if you're eligible for a fee waiver. And so if you're eligible for a fee waiver, that means that you can take both of those tests for free.
Okay, thank you so much for the information.
You're welcome.
Are there any more questions? Well, Ms. Carmen, I want to say thank you. Do you have any final words or any, final recommendations or suggestions for the students as we wrap this up?
Yeah. The thing that I want the students to know is consistency is king. What you consistently do, that's what you're going to get out of it. So if you have a desire to go to college, whether it's a 2-year college, a community college, a 4-year college, that preparation, we've already had 3 years. So now is not the time to slack up. Now is really the time to kick it in gear because right now you're establishing your tenacity. And that just means that your endurance, how much you can stick with it. Because this is the time to actually show yourself that you're capable of excelling. Okay. And especially during COVID, since everything is such a challenge, my heart goes out to teenagers because I have absolutely no idea what it's like to be a teenager firsthand during these times. What I do know is that there are many adults who are willing, able to support you guys. So do not feel like you are tackling anything by yourself. Please, please, please don't do that. If you are overwhelmed, ask for help. Do not feel like you have to tackle all of this by yourself. Okay? It's a reason that you happen to be a teenager and not an adult. Ask for help. There are people who are waiting. You have a group of ladies right here that are just, ready and available to help you guys. So ask.
As soon as you started talking, another question came into the chat.
Let's see. Leanne says, do you know resources for college essay readings or corrections? Honestly, the best, if you don't need a resource for the for the corrections, the best thing is to talk to your English teacher. Best thing, because that person sees you in class every single day. That person by now should have a better understanding what your strengths are and what some things that you need to firm up on. I would start with my English teacher. And I would, here I am being a trailblazer, because one of the things that I had my senior teachers do is incorporate their essays into an assignment. And that way you're not double writing. So be innovative. Ask your teacher if your teacher would be open to assigning an essay for you guys to write for college admission. And then that way, then you have, because they're going to take it in steps, right? They're going to chunk that whole process. And now you have a well-written paper that you could submit. So I would ask. I would be impressed if my students asked me that. So.
Wow, that's great advice. Thank you so much, Carmen. We really appreciate your time and all of the information that you provided to the students. I believe it was very helpful, and I'm looking forward to hearing some success stories very soon in the near future to see how the college applications are going. I'll definitely will follow up with you on that.
Awesome.
Okay. All right, everyone.
Bye, you guys.
We're going to go on to our final presentation. That's the one that we tried to start off with. And this is from Phyllis, who's going to kind of give us a quick recap of some of the things that we learned about HBCUs. Stand by while I pull up the presentation. Okay, can everyone see it?
Yes, all right. Thank you so much, Stacy. So this has been a wonderful gathering of information, and students, just like Ms. Carmen said, you're not by yourself. So please don't feel alone or isolated. You have all of us to lean on and to ask us questions. So with that being said, my name is Phyllis Hayes, and my presentation will give an overview of the presentations that we have given over the course of our time together during this COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, next slide, please. So the history of HBCUs, because I'm going to talk about HBCUs. The historical Black colleges and universities, HBCUs, were established in 1837. The very first HBCU was called the Institute for Colored Youth. It began as a farm school, which became one of the first schools to train Blacks for skilled jobs. The goal and the purpose of the HBCU was to establish and educate the need of Black America. Next slide, please. So we talked about college tours. So we know that due to COVID, the in-person college campus tours have stopped. HBCUs are offering virtual college tours. These are great offerings. You can ask questions. You can see the inside of popular buildings. You can see dorm rooms. So please take advantage of the HBCU virtual tours. And this is an activity that the entire family can be a part of. Next slide, please. So one of the advantages of going to college is their study abroad opportunities. Study abroad gives you a chance to see the world differently. You are offered a chance to immerse yourself in cultures you only see on the internet and on TV. So I truly recommend, once you get involved in a college, you are enrolled in a college, and maybe your sophomore year, you decide like, I want to go to Africa or I want to go to Australia and study there. They have summer programs, they have fall programs, but your college advisor can give you some information on that. And we also have Tanisha. I think Tanisha did a study abroad program. I think she said that in one of our presentations. So this is the end of our.
Yes.
Yes, you did. And you had a wonderful time too, didn't you?
Absolutely.
And where did you go?
I went to Florence, Italy,
Oh, Italy.
and school was only 4 days a week, which enabled us to take the weekend and the remaining days of the week to travel elsewhere throughout Europe via train.
Oh,
So
wow.
I went as far east as Poland, as far west as Paris. I made it out to Barcelona. We spent an entire week in London. It was an amazing experience.
And so how long was the study abroad?
I was there for 4 months,
Oh, for
and
4 months. Wow.
yeah, so it was yeah, it was 4 months. And then after that, my mom joined me and we went to Greece
Oh,
together.
wow. Oh, wow.
So yeah, you just never know what opportunities will unfold for you if you just investigate, ask, and and save. I didn't, we weren't walking around as money bags family. We just I applied myself and I was able to get assistance to have that experience, and it's something I'll cherish for the rest of my life.
Oh, wonderful. What were some of the courses that you studied over there?
Well, we were required to take Italian language,
Oh, okay.
art history, some I can't remember what specifically what era of history, but it was all like Italian based. I think that I might have had my second major was sociology. I think I got all those out of the way before I went. But I think it was essentially that. And the greatest learning happened outside of the classroom.
Yes.
Experiencing an entirely different world experience. Being the person who didn't speak, the language, and realizing how important it was to be multilingual, and just be able to experience different perspectives.
Oh,
So
wonderful, wonderful,
yeah.
wonderful. Thank you so much for that, Tanisha. So I did see in the chat that somebody went to Japan. They studied abroad in Japan. That's wonderful. That is so wonderful. Those things are priceless. So this is the end of my presentation. Remember, when you are choosing a college, don't forget to select at least 2 to 3 HBCUs. Thank you so much.
Very good, very good. Thank you all for the wonderful input and storytelling. I enjoyed listening to that, making me want to go to Italy now.
I know, right?
Okay, let's see. Are there any questions in the chat, or does anyone want to come off of mute to ask any questions? We have about 4 minutes left.
Can I just give a comment? I want to say choosing your college is wonderful. And even for next week, we're going to have, I placed it in the chat for any seniors to RSVP. We have a college admissions workshop where we're actually going to be helping you to fill out your college applications. So this workshop is for our seniors in particular. Last second Friday, they worked on the college essays. And so this week, we're actually going to be helping you guys with your college applications. So calling all the seniors. So the seniors who are on the call, I put the link in the chat. You can RSVP directly there. And so you can get support. Like everyone has said, your English teachers, your counselors, and utilize the resource that we have even for next Friday as well, 5 o'clock to 5 to 6:30 at the same time. And so I went to West LA and transferred to Cal State Long Beach. And so I think when you decide where you want to go, I love how you guys shared about going on the campus, go and see your university. And when you choose your college, make sure that it is the best school that's going to give you the most for your major, for what you want to study. Because remember, you need to be a professional and have the knowledge for this area that you're learning about. I always joke with some of the younger students. I say, hey, if I was going to go get my hair done at a hairstylist, I want to make sure that they don't mess up my hairline for the guys, right? And for the ladies, you want to make sure your edges are laid. So if they are not a professional at what they do, if you're going to be an engineer, you want to be the best engineer. You want to gather all the information you need to know so you have all of the tools to be the best engineer for what you're going to help to make a difference in the world in. And if that's being a lawyer, a doctor, nurse, whatever profession that you want to do. So absolutely go visit the school and RSVP for the event for next week as well. And all these wonderful resources, Miss Stacy, all the AKs you guys are offering, just wonderful. All of our speakers, Miss Carmen, thank you so much. Wonderful.
Thank you. And Ms. Christelle, I'd like to also add that as you guys are filling out your college applications, my AKA chapter is interested in assisting you with your Common App fees. So if you apply to any HBCUs, please let Ms. Christelle and Ms. Naomi know, because we are going to reimburse you for the Common App fees that you have to pay for those applications to the HBCUs. Even if you hadn't considered an HBCU before, I highly encourage you to consider one, just because you just don't know what you're missing unless you have that opportunity. So give yourself that opportunity. One more thing, two more things. College is an investment in yourself, okay? It is an investment. It is going to help you prepare for your future and to allow you to be successful and be able to sustain your livelihood and take care of yourselves. Treat it accordingly. Take it seriously. Spend the time that it takes to do your research. Spend the time that it takes to get yourself ready and do everything possible to give yourself the best chance at being successful, because college, again, is an investment in yourself. Nobody's going to love you like you. Okay. Last thing is, next month for CAP, again, first Friday in December, we're going to cover financial aid. We are bringing in the director of financial aid from Southwest College, and she's going to teach you how to apply for financial aid, how to apply for grants, and how to research scholarships. You don't want to miss this. Again, first Friday in December at 5 o'clock. I hope to see you there. Here. All right, everyone, that's our time. Thank you again, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next month. Have a wonderful weekend, and God bless.
Bye, you all.
Thank you. I'll see everybody soon.
You guys did an amazing meeting.
Oh, thank you so much, and I appreciate you participating. Thank you for coming off the mute and showing your face on camera. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. You're beautiful.
Thank you. You are too.
And good luck, by the way.
Thank you.
All right, ladies.